what a lot of people don't do, right? A lot of business owners don't do is they look at their advertising dollars as if they're buying a spot in the yellow pages, back in the 1980s or 1990s or whatever, and they're just kind of leaving it alone. It's like, okay, whatever I get out of it, I get out of it, right? Those days are gone. That's the easiest way to kind of lose your money. I've spoken to 2, 3, 4 companies that have spent $30,000, $40,000 and didn't even get a phone call from it.
I like it. All right, guys, welcome to episode 2 of Overtime with Nav. I'm very, very excited for episode 2 here. We've been hitting the ground running, doing a bunch of cool things, and I'm super excited to welcome our second guest and someone that I truly really appreciate in my life. He wears several hats. Let's start. He is my watch guy. He is my business partner. He is, my ads guy. He is a phenomenal friend, most importantly, and a true confidant. And I'm, very, very excited to introduce Mr. Edmund Karendian.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, do you want the sound?
Yes, please.
I thought for myself.
So Eddie, how's it going?
It's good, dude.
Well, very good. Well, as I told you, Eddie, and our guests will see, kind of the intent of this podcast is to kind of really go through our world through the lens of business a little bit, but at the same time, we're more than just fellow business advocates. We're also kind of fun, kind of cool, and we want to keep it a little bit cool too. So. Not to say business isn't cool. We're super excited about giving good tax tips, good exciting business tips, and talking about some of the value adds that both organizations can provide. But at the same time, really want to stick to current events and some cool stuff going on. And so, with that said, if you don't mind, maybe introducing a little bit some of the stuff you do, your organization, we could dive a little bit deeper from there.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we're marketing guys, right? Like we're marketing guys at heart. When you're a marketing guy, you tend to get drawn into more aspects of business than just marketing, because getting people in the door is one step of the process, but really, giving them good service is the next step. So we're marketing guys at heart. That we do operations as well. We work with professionals, all different types of professionals, from lawyers to accountants, as you know, and
I sure do.
Yeah, we just try to help. We just try to use our experience and expertise to try to bring customers in the door.
What are some figures that you're looking at? I know that you're probably, I'm assuming, and I know that you're owning and taking ownership of millions of dollars in ad spend. And so where is it that, and maybe we could focus on one industry, call it the legal space, and everybody likes personal injury, so we can maybe focus on that a little bit. What do you do to kind of maintain ROI and make sure, like, for instance, the attorney isn't blowing a bunch of money on ads, or they're spending the right amount? Sometimes it's too much, right? That economies of scale, like we talked about. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your perspective on that.
Yeah, that's a good starting point, I think.
Cheers, by the way. You're going to need a sip to answer this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a long one. I'll make it short.
Okay. This is value. We want it.
Long version.
Give it to us.
When it comes to the advertising world, obviously you want to get in front of people, right? That's what it comes down to. The basics is that you, as a business owner, or a business itself, because businesses are entities and they're their own organizations, and they have their own social security numbers and stuff. So as a business and as a business owner, you want to get in front of people. There's a few ways to do that, right? You can literally go out on the street and start handing people your business card. You can buy a billboard. You can start advertising on Google. You can start advertising on social media. You can buy a sponsorship, with a sports team. So there's many avenues of getting eyeballs, right? We call it getting eyeballs. And when it comes down to it, every single dollar that you spend, uh, you have to model out where that dollar is going to, how that dollar is going to convert into more dollars for you as a business. So that's how we look at it, right? So when we budget a campaign, whether it's a social media campaign, or whether it's a branding campaign, or radio campaign, we take a look at it. Uh, we take a look at it from just a straight dollar standpoint. I put a dollar in, I put $10 in, I put $100 in, I put $1,000 in. What what do I expect to get after that campaign is done? And and along the way, right, you're you're almost navigating this. It's like you're pulling these strings to keep it within what you want it to do, right? So as time goes by, you give it like, okay, you say, uh, I'm gonna give this 3 months. I'm gonna give this campaign 3 months time, right? $100,000. I'm gonna dump into the campaign over 3 months, and I want to see. And in the beginning, you say, I'd like to see $400,000 worth of business. Let's just say. So as the campaign is running a weekend, you take a look, and you're like, okay, I got I got this many people calling me. I got this many leads. I'm not on track, right? You pull the string a little bit this way, right? You pull it up a little bit, or maybe you change an ad, or you do something to kind of tweak it. And so it's this constant tweaking as time goes by. And what a lot of people don't do, right? A lot of business owners don't do is, I see it all the time. They look at their advertising dollars as if they're buying a spot in the yellow pages, back in 1980s or 1990s or whatever, and they're just kind of leaving it alone. It's like, okay, whatever I get out of it, I get out of it, right? Those days are gone. That's the easiest way to kind of lose your money. I've spoken to two, three, four um, uh, companies that have spent $30,000, $40,000 and didn't even get a phone call from it.
Wow.
Um, and and this is over time. It's not like you're spending $30,000 in a day. So the way we look at it is the dollar amount that we're spending, what we're getting for that dollar amount over time, and is it reaching that goal that we set in the beginning? Um,
Very interesting.
yeah, and
So in this space, do you have any metrics that you would, like for instance in PI, do you have any specific metrics that you say to yourself like, hey, if I'm not getting, X out of this much invested, it's not worth it? Or what are some metrics? What are some KPIs you're looking at in that?
oh yeah, I mean, we there, there's always times where we where we look at campaigns and we're like, okay, we're going to pull the plug. If it doesn't perform at uh, a certain level. Um, with PI, it's a numbers game,
Sure.
right? It really is a numbers game. It's also a branding game, and you can see it with all the different brand partnerships that attorneys join in on, with PI, and it's really just to be top of mind, right? Because uh, PI is a interesting field where it's not a set dollar amount that you can expect back. So when you're budgeting, right, for a PI campaign, um, you're looking at it like, if I get in front of enough people, I'm eventually going to hit a big one, a
The
big
golden
case,
goose.
golden goose, and I'll make my money for a year.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, there's very rare businesses like that, right? Where, if you're, if you have a store and if you're selling something from a store, you're looking at it from a margin standpoint, right? It's like, this is how much I'm selling my item. This is how much I buy it for. This is how many I have to sell. With PI, you can have one client and and you could be cool for the next 2, 3 years,
Sure.
right?
So would you say at this point in especially, I mean, let's stick to the markets. I know you're involved in a couple markets, but just saying in California, if tomorrow, there was some sort of cap on attorney's fees as it relates to PI, or that golden goose opportunity wasn't as fruitful as it was, meaning getting a multi-million-dollar settlement or whatever it is. Would you say it's, in the current marketing rate, it's probably not worth venturing out to, because the margins from the volume you get from just your normal $15,000 settlement thing case is probably not gonna, the juice isn't worth the squeeze in kind of the marketing space, or maybe there is, or how would you?
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's still going to be juice to squeeze
Mhm.
from a marketing standpoint. I think what's going to happen is, this is just my opinion, but I think what's going to happen, what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of downsizing of very large operations, um, or maybe cutting costs that way, um, because there's still going to be there's still going to be a need to bring customers in. So if the fees are capped, what's going to happen is you're going to need X number more clients in order to cover your costs,
Sure.
right? So if you can't get that,
Yeah.
then you're just gonna, you know, before you cut your marketing budget, you cut your staff.
Right.
You know, you might outsource more.
Right.
So I think we'll see that more than actual marketing budgets being
Diminished.
diminished. Um, I think that it just depends on the environment too, right? Depends on how much competition there is, not just from an industry standpoint, but overall. We're in a world now where our attention spans are super low. I mean, you got to grab someone's attention within the first 5 seconds of being in front of them. In 5 seconds, like you know, if within 5 seconds if within the first 5 seconds your ad doesn't get that person, I mean, it's just a flick away.
Yeah. It's
And
done.
and you're competing, and people don't understand. The attorneys are not competing against attorneys. They're
No.
competing against mattress companies. They're competing against uh, uh, all the potential advertisers out there, and everyone wants to get in front of people.
Interesting.
And it's not just it might have been in the past where you're competing one on one against an attorney because there's maybe a space for that, but with this with the way marketing works now, um, we see ad costs go down during certain times of year because there's less advertisers,
Sure.
uh, and vice versa, right? Holiday time, it's expensive for everybody because there's everybody's advertising, right?
Mm.
Everybody's getting ready, they're dumping money into their ad budgets. First of all, they want to get rid of it before the end of the year,
That's a good point.
right? And I'm sure we'll go into that, but everyone spends most of their money consumer wise. Consumer spends most of their money at the end of the year during the holiday time.
Right. Close
So
out Q4.
yeah, so we're seeing, and I'll give you a little bit of jargon, right? The way we look at the costs in the ad world is by a cost per thousand impressions. It's called the CPM, and the cost per thousand views, right? So if you see a cost per thousand views of, let's say, $8, right? So it costs you $8 to get in front of 1,000 people during the year. Uh, During the holidays, no matter who you are, $25,
Wow.
$22, $23. So almost three times.
Triple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
almost three times. So your cost per client acquisition is going to go up if you don't get better at converting that client, right?
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that Q4 ad spend is a fun one, and
Yeah, it's a scramble.
and especially for younger organizations, it's critical, right? I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen companies coming to my office having such a small ad spend
Mm.
and such a high tax burden. Just looking at them and saying, "Oh, you paid over six figures in taxes, but what was your ad spend?
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
holding on to your money.
well, why are you not spending properly on ads? Well, I don't, I don't want to spend that much. I don't know where it'll go. Is it going to make? Well, yeah, rely on the professional to do it, and spend it rather than playing Uncle Sam. And do it, and that's the only way you're going to grow. And so it's a really good point that you brought up.
And it's scary, right? Because the conversations we have with clients or potential clients is, I gave a marketing company $30,000, and they told me that they got in front of people for me, but I didn't get anything out of it.
Right,
I didn't even get a single client out of it.
right,
And I mean, my heart like drops when I hear that kind of stuff because I'm just like, we're so, we come from such a different world. And maybe this is some advice I can give to people. When you try to find a marketer for your company, try to find someone that was in the lead generation game, because just a straight marketer, right, is it's kind of like a theoretical person almost, right? And we kind of had this conversation earlier. There's a difference between the theory of marketing. Like,
sure.
I went to business school.
Yeah.
Shout out to USC, 2009. Great time to graduate.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure there are a lot of job opportunities there.
oh yeah, it was awesome. I was actually like the only one that had a job out of college in 2009. Yeah, I quit it because they just lowballed me.
Yeah, probably
But
for the best.
I know, right?
Hindsight.
But yeah, so we had marketing teachers, right? Like in business school, you have a marketing teacher, and you go through all this case studies and the theory behind marketing and like what works and what doesn't work. And like, people take that, right? People take that from their schooling years, then they create companies, marketing companies, around that model. And then they're like, well, we got you some views, like, we got your brand out there. Well, it didn't really like turn into anything for you, but but look at this branding, like it's great, right? Like, look at these ads, like, and it's just like there's no meat,
Yeah.
right? There's no meat, and a company can't survive with no meat, right? So we take a whole different approach, and we're so meticulous with every single dollar that's spent. Literally, I've had campaigns where it's like after 2 days, I don't see something going on, even something in the right direction. I was like, axe it.
So you're tweaking every day.
Every single day I tweak. You got to tweak.
You got to tweak.
But if you don't do it, right? If you don't do it, you're going to be wasting a lot of money.
Yeah.
You will wake up one day. I had a campaign. Oh man, I had a global campaign one time. This was an interesting thing. So I had a global campaign where the marketing budget never stopped. So you know how, like, if you're advertising in California or if you're advertising in the US, when people go to sleep, your marketing budget stops, right? Because people are sleeping.
Right.
So you're not getting clicks anymore.
Right. I hope so.
Yeah, most people are sleeping. The tweakers are not sleeping. I had a campaign that was global, and it was nonstop. So when people would go to sleep in the U.S., it would be running in Singapore, and it would be running in Malaysia, and it would be running, and then as the globe turned, right, the campaign was still running, and I'm like, oh my God, and it was and I was just trying to manage all of it, and in the middle of the night, wake up and sweat, and like, oh my God, spent $2,000 in like 3 hours. I didn't get anything from it.
Yeah.
Cut the campaign.
my
It's
God.
crazy. So
That's a lot of tweaking.
it's a lot of tweaking. Yeah, it's a lot.
Wow.
It's fun.
Yeah. So
It's
there you
fun.
have it, guys. Your ads guys, they're tweakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do to zen out a little bit? Because if all that tweaking, you got to take care of yourself. What
You
do you like
got
to
to.
do? What do you like to do to chill out?
Well, as you know, you got to do the ice bath in the morning. That was a segue right into the ice bath, right?
That ice bath. We gotta show our folks some of that ice bath. Thank you for that shout out. By the way, I really appreciate
Of
it.
course, yeah. Every morning, you got to get in the ice bath and shout someone out.
So seriously, you do that every morning?
Every morning.
What time?
Between 6 and 7 a.m.
Like right when you wake up.
Yeah.
So you go
Yeah.
get yourself some ice.
Yeah.
You have pre-packed ice, or like you have it in your fridge.
At night, we make the ice every night.
Mhm.
And then, in the morning you dump it in. I actually,
In what? What is it? It's like a proper. What is it?
it's a tub.
It's a tub.
Yeah, it's a tub. It's like
Outdoor,
yeah, outdoor.
like the one you did for us.
Yeah, you can do it indoor, but outdoors probably the best because you get the fresh air and stuff. Uh, there are ways to chill that. There are other ways to chill the water. I'm gonna probably invest in a water chiller or something so that I don't have to
Yeah.
spend so much time making the ice.
Yeah. How long is the process for you overall, start to finish?
It's not that long. Probably like 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. Fill up the tub.
Worth it.
Dump it. 100% I suggest it for everybody.
What does it do? Like, what kind? You get clarity or like energy or what is it?
I mean, it's. I mean, it puts you in a situation of like obviously like intense pain in the beginning, right? But then afterwards, I mean, your body adjusts within a few seconds, and then everything else, right? Like all you're really thinking about, you're zoned in, you're breathing, right? You're doing really deep breathing, and then all you're really thinking about is the fact that everything else after that moment is probably going to be easy for the rest of the day, right? If you have like difficult tasks or whatever you need to do, it's nothing. And you got up out of a warm bed, like just a Tempur-Pedic, whatever you're sleeping on, right? Like a warm bed, and you just you go outside and you dump yourself into 50-degree water. It's just it puts you in a situation where there's not much that you can't conquer after that. I mean, physiologically it has benefits too, right? I don't know, how, I think if you do like 3 times a week, it's good. I think past that, it's maybe there's no benefits. I don't know. I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
but psychologically, you just
So it's basically you're just putting yourself through immense amount of pain so that all the pains and disasters that goes on throughout the day is just nothing. Is that what you're telling me?
that's how
why
I
you're doing
that's
it?
how I think about it. Exactly.
All that tweaking is nothing compared to my ice bath.
It's nothing, dude. It's nothing. No, the ice bath is yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a shot of coffee. It's like
Yeah.
the same kind of feeling that you get when you take a nice shot of espresso, like a double shot or something, and you're just like, okay, like I'm ready to go.
But I like my shot of coffee.
Oh, you can take it with the ice bath. Then you're really tweaking.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now you give me ideas.
Yeah.
It's a
we
nice
should do that.
watch there, by the way. What is that?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You told me to wear a nice watch. That
Yeah.
is a shout out to my Tudor Pelagos. This one is it's actually like a special edition for like the French Marines or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
So is Tudor kind of affiliated with Rolex, or what is it?
Yeah, Tudor's a sister company, well, basically owned by Rolex. Yeah. Rolex is owned by a trust,
Mhm.
right? It's a nonprofit.
To not part that. When I found that out, that was wild.
Yeah, Hans Wilsdorf, I think, is the owner,
Yeah.
and his heirs. And then Tudor is his like working man's watch, right?
Mm.
Cheaper price point, but still pretty good quality. I mean, they're cool, right? Like they're
I like
just
it.
cool.
What about that band? Is that like an adjustable band or
Yeah,
like a
this is
replaceable one, or what is
yeah.
that?
This is a band. Yeah, this is an interesting watch because you can take the band off and then right, and then put on different straps.
Mm.
This one I just got from a YouTuber, like a watch YouTuber.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I watch I watch all his YouTubes, and he has a Shopify store, and he just sells his straps. It's like $30 or something. It's pretty
Oh,
nice.
the band, not
The
necessarily
band.
the watch. The
Yeah,
watch
no,
you
no.
got from
The
Tudor.
watch from Tudor. Yeah. Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
cool. Watches are cool, dude.
What's your favorite watch? If you had to,
Favorite watch?
yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite watch.
In terms of like, if you went to an AD, an authorized dealer, and you were able to come up on one watch, and you wanted to turn it into the,
Oh, like just like
secondary
sell it
market,
and flip it?
what do you think's the most?
Your favorite, bro? Panda Daytona.
Really, the Daytona? Specifically the
Panda
Panda?
Daytona. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Really?
Specifically the Panda Daytona.
Wow.
I mean, they don't make that many of them, right? Like, I mean, like we did the math on them. They don't get that many Panda Daytonas. I mean, like every dealer probably gets maybe one every couple of years.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
actually, I mean, if you like look at if you do the math on them, right? It's like 30,000 Daytonas, and there's like 2,000 dealers, and there's so many different Daytonas, like white gold ones, yellow gold ones, whatever. But the Panda Steel Daytona is like people wait 5 years for them, 5-6 years to get one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I shouldn't hold my breath.
Why not? I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you go in, it's all relationship, right? I think that's how it works. So, like, if you go in, you kind of like build a relationship, and maybe start taking some inventory off the dealer's hands that is, makes them some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get you something nice.
Very good, very good. Speaking of relationships, I think that's probably, we talked about like the top things that are important. We mentioned advertising and really having a good hold on that, but part of that is really relationships, is what I feel, as it relates to really successfully growing and maintaining a strong business. Relationships are everything. This example, right? If you have strong relationships with, your ad person, where you feel comfortable that your ad person is really taking care of your ad spend like it's your own,
Mm-hmm.
the opportunities are endless as it relates to tax savings. It's a team effort, right? It starts with knowing your numbers, right?
Numbers.
You need there you go, the numbers again. You need to know the numbers.
Men gone
Both
wrong.
of your numbers.
Woo.
You like numbers?
I think your wives are
So,
yelling
yeah,
at you
it
there.
starts with the
No,
numbers.
don't worry about
You
that.
have to know your books, and you got to look at it regularly and understand. Okay, well, if you're going to spend a meaningful amount of your time, you got to understand what kind of benefit you're going to get out of it, right?
Yeah, but like let's say you know your numbers, right?
Mhm.
There are still things that you don't know, that you can't really gauge from those numbers, to say, okay, can I cut this expense and still operate,
Sure.
and maybe even operate better, because this expense is making operational inefficiencies. You
Sure.
don't even know, right? Like, I mean, I've gone in, and until you go in, you really like do like a actual, like, you do like a audit yourself, like a hands-on audit. You don't know.
No, the business owner, stakeholder has to be involved. No, the accountant isn't going to know.
Mm-hmm.
The accountant can guide into what to focus on,
Mm-hmm.
but you're right. The step one is the numbers. Step two is the execution. Okay, well, I identified 3 line items in my P&L that I'm seeing, that I'm seeing that historically have increased significantly over the last few months. Okay, I'm going to focus on this, and I don't recommend focusing on all the line items in your P&L. You focus on one, right? Ad spend, classic one. We can geek out over your ad spend overhead costs for hours, right? And so, where is that? So, okay, what is my ROI on my ad spend? Is this meaningful enough? How much am I getting per conversion? Can I shop that? Can I get better at it? Can I tweak to get it better?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? Am I
What's that gonna
spending
cost?
too many? Am I spending too much to get that? That cost isn't just the spend on the ads. That's the people.
Yeah.
Then it comes to human capital management. What are the KPIs that I'm putting on my human capital to ensure that they're operating efficiently? Are my teams hitting goals that they need to be getting? Do they even have goals? Right?
Mhm.
What goals do they have assigned? Are they hitting them? Are they not hitting them? If they're not hitting them, what happens? If they are hitting them, what happens? All these things you got to just go through. And again, it starts with the numbers. Numbers are critical. Analyzing what you're going to attack, and then continuously going there. But you said something to me earlier that's super, super, resonated with me, and I wanted to talk about too, because it's happening to me. I'm guilty of it. I think every business owner is guilty of it. It's like we come in. I'll tell you right now, my first half of my day is burning fires, right? And then probably the second half of my day is, more of the being able to really take a step back. And I've been able to, thankfully be able to do that, where I'm burning fires in the half of my day, and then the other half I'm spending on, okay, where is the strategic trajectory of NAV Capital Consulting? Where is this going? What am I focusing on? Some of that analysis in itself. Now, the challenge becomes okay, you're doing your thing, your margins are okay, but they could be significantly better. But at the end of the day, I like to do what I'm used to doing and what I want to focus on in my business, and that's what I'm doing. How do we get ourselves out of that mindset of, okay, well, I'm just going to go in and have my day that I am? How do we change it up so that we actually address those really critical things that need to be done?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what makes or breaks good companies, because people get, especially business owners get caught up in a lot of that. They get caught up in the day-to-day. They get caught up they get tired, right? Like emotionally, psychologically, um, you're getting tired from a standpoint of there's only so much that you can handle on a daily basis, especially if you're if you're very active in your company.
Yeah, and there's only one of you, right?
Yeah.
For now, I don't know, Quinn. If there are any AI tools out there that could replicate us, like I would love to know. But as of now, there's only one of me. And
There's delegation that you can do though, right? So like
delegation is great.
there's delegation, but I'll tell you, it's delegation with incentivization.
Ooh,
Okay,
wow.
let's coin that term. Let's do it. Delegation
Delegation
with incentivization.
with incentivization.
That's it.
I love that.
And I mean, what does it mean, right? Like it means that yeah, you can delegate all you want, but if you as a business owner don't incentivize the people that you're delegating to in a way that you're incentivized as a business owner, right? You're not going to get the outcome that you want, especially this day and age, especially now. The days of whipping, employees or contractors or whatever you have in your company, the days of using a whip to motivate, I think are done.
No, it'll be canceled real quick if you start using the whip. It's
Yeah,
over.
not exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us like whips still, right? It
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, we'll save that for the next one.
The next podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, whips work, right? They work
worked.
to make people work the bare minimum,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
the bare minimum, just not for you to go in and say, okay, I'm just going to replace you and get someone else. And like we all are guilty of it, and we all have. I think we've all been in situations like that. I mean, like me as a business owner, and when I was an employee and whatever. It's just we have circumstances where we come into a meeting and we're like, okay, well, this person is good, but they're not great. But what is it going to take for us to replace that person? And I think it was it's in the Malcolm Gladwell book. I forgot which book it was, but what was it, like the
Link?
I forgot which one it was, but the one line was good is the good is the enemy of greatness or something, right? So when things are good, just good, you're never going to strive for greatness,
Yeah.
right? When things are, you're back against the wall and things are like ass,
Yeah.
is when you're just like, let's go.
100%.
And then that's greatness. Like that, you see greatness from there. So I mean, like, it's good to have a lot of good people working around you, but in order to lift them up to greatness, right? In order to lift them up to greatness, give them a reason to be great. It doesn't have to just be financial. It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be a lot of different things. I mean, get to know the people that you work with.
Sure.
See what makes them tick. Like, do they like watches?
Or
Do
numbers.
they like numbers?
Yeah.
Do they like ice baths?
Very true. Very
Um,
true.
I mean, we're people after all, right? We're not robots. Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn.
I'm part robot.
You're part robot?
There you go. He's a robot.
I mean, your brain is a computer.
Yeah.
You know what brain in Chinese? The word for computer is dianmao, which means electronic brain.
It's Chinese.
Chinese. China.
Yeah, we gotta go to China.
Yeah, I want to go to
We
China.
gotta learn from the Chinese, huh?
Yeah.
Their number system's really efficient. The
No,
reason
they
why-
like numbers.
They
They
like
love numbers in China.
They like numbers.
Yeah, they like numbers in China.
It's a more efficient system. It's
That's
their
good.
language is why they're better at math than us.
Mm.
That's a whole market that's untapped. China.
All right. I think we are wrapping it up.
That's good.
Last shout out. Edmund Karendian at eCustom Solutions. Are you taking on new clients, or are you too busy tweaking, or where are you guys at right now?
We're tweaking, but we never say no to to having a preliminary call.
Mm-hmm.
But we are pretty selective with the clients that we take.
As you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point in time, and it's a blessing to be in that situation. But we always like to help people, and what it comes down to is like we like to help people that want to grow, right?
Yeah.
Like that want to help themselves and lift themselves up and like, you know, make something of their business, of themselves, and are really passionate. You know, because there's a lot of people out there that, you know, I think they just don't know what they want, you know, for themselves, for their businesses. And if you know what you want, then we know how to get you there.
I love it.
That's
I love it.
Yeah.
I thank you for this time.
Thank you.
I'm sure gonna have you back,
For sure.
and
I'll bring the watch collection.
bring the watch collection.
Maybe we'll do it in ice bath.
Maybe we'll have an ice bath. The next podcast in an ice bath. Who
Put an
knows?
ice bath in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both fit in there.
I don't know about here. Probably some liability issues, but maybe we'll do it at the place.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everybody. If you have any other questions or want to reach out to Eddie, just feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get you in touch with him. All right.
Thank you guys.
Later.
Bye.